A Treatise of Satan's Temptations. Part 2. By Richard Gilpin. A Discourse of the Malice, Power, Cruelty and Diligence of Satan. Of the various ways by which he hinders peace. 1. Way by discomposures of spirit. These discomposures explained, by showing, 1. What advantage he takes from our natural temper, and what tempers give him this advantage. And more. Chapter 6. Part 2. They that sit in the gate speak against me. And I was the song of the drunkards. With these he was so astounded that if he had not catched hold on God by prayer, as he speaks, verse 13, he had fallen. But as for me, my prayer is unto thee, O Lord, etc. And he afterward speaks of his support under reproaches as a wonder of divine assistance, Psalm 119:51, the proud have had me in derision, yet have I not declined from thy law. 2. Injury is another occasion by which the devil works upon our tempers to disquiet us. Wrongs of injustice and oppression are hard to bear. This is a common ground of trouble. Good men cannot always acquit themselves in this case as they ought. Jeremiah, when smitten by Pashur, and put in the stocks, Jeremiah 20:2-8, falls into a sad passion. I am a derision daily, every one mocketh me. I cried out, I cried violence and spoil, imitating the passionate affrightments of those that cry, murder, murder, etc. No wonder, seeing Solomon gives it as an axiom built upon manifold experience, Ecclesiastes 7:7. Oppression doth not only make a man unquiet, but mad in his unquietness. And not only those that are foolish and hasty, but the most considerate and sedate persons, oppression makes a wise man mad. 3. Another occasion of men's discomposure is, the prosperity of the wicked. Their abundance, their advancements to honors and dignity, hath always been a grudge, to those whose condition is below them, and yet suppose themselves to have better grounds, to expect preferment than they. This astonished Job even to trembling, Job 21:7, when I remember, I am afraid, and trembling taketh hold on my flesh. And the matter was but this, wherefore do the wicked live, become old, yea, and mighty in power? The trouble that seizeth on men's hearts on this occasion is called fretting, a vexation that wears out the strength of the soul, as two hard bodies waste by mutual attrition or rubbing. And it takes its advantage from our envy chiefly, though other distempers come in to help it forward, Psalm 37:1, Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity. David confesseth that he was apt to fall into this trouble, Psalm 73:3, I was envious at the foolish, when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Against this disquiet we have frequent cautions, Proverbs 24:1-19, and Psalm 49:16, Be not afraid when one is made rich, when the glory of his house is increased. All which show our proneness to this disease. 4. Crosses and afflictions give Satan an opportunity to work upon our passions. As disappointments of expectations, loss of friends, of estate, persecutions and sufferings for conscience' sake. None of these in their own nature are joyous, but grievous. And what use they have been of to the devil to discompose the minds of the sufferers, is evidenced by common experience. The tears, sad countenances, and doleful lamentations of men are true witnesses of the disquiet of their hearts. Every one being pressed with the sense of his own smart is ready to cry out, Is there any sorrow like my sorrow? I am poor and comfortless, my lovers and my friends have forsaken me, and there is none to help. Some grow faint under their burden, while their eyes fail in looking for redress, especially when new unexpected troubles overwhelm their hopes. When I looked for good, then evil came. And when I waited for light, there came darkness, Job 30:26. Why hast thou smitten us, and there is no healing for us? We looked for peace, and there is no good. And for the time of healing, and behold trouble, Jeremiah 14:19. And here they sink, concluding there is no hope. Others that bear up better in a blessed expectation of spiritual profit, having that of David in their eye, Blessed is the man whom thou afflictest, and teachest in thy law, yet they cannot forbear their complaints even to God, Psalm 25:17, The troubles of mine heart are enlarged. O bring thou me out of my distresses. Look upon mine affliction and my pain. Nay, those that have had the highest advantages of heavenly support, whose hearts have been kept in peace, counting it all joy that they have fallen into these trials, and God doth more this way for those that suffer for the gospel's sake, than ordinarily for others. Yet have not these been under a stoical senselessness of their trouble. Though they were not distressed, they were troubled on every side, though not in despair, yet they were perplexed, 2 Corinthians 4:8. Though their afflictions were light, yet were they afflictions still. 5. To these may be added, the pain or anguish of sickness and bodily distemper. Though there are various degrees of pain, and that some sicknesses are less afflictive than others, yet none of them forbear to pierce the mind. The whole man is discomposed. He that is exercised with strong pains upon his bed, cries out in the bitterness of his soul. And he that by insensible degrees languisheth, grows ordinarily peevish, and his mind bleeds by an inward wound, so that he spends his days in sighing, and his years in mourning. And others there are who, being before acquainted with bodily pains, grow very impatient in sickness, and are able to bear nothing. And besides the present sense of pain, the expectation of death puts some into great commotion. The fears of it, for it is naturally dreadful, fills them with disquiet thoughts. And those that approach to the grave by slow steps, under consumption or languishing sicknesses, they are habituated to sadness, and can think of nothing cheerfully, except they have great assurance of salvation, and have well learned to die, because the coffin, grave, and winding sheet are still presented to them. These, though they be very suitable objects for meditation, and, well improved, of great advantage for preparation to death, yet doth Satan thereby, when it is for his purpose, endeavor to keep men under grief, and to bereave them of their peace. 6. Satan takes an advantage of trouble from the miseries of others. Sympathy is a Christian grace. And to bear one another's burdens, to mourn with those that mourn, shows us to be fellow-feeling members, of the same body, for if one member suffer, all the members suffer with it. 1 Corinthians 12:26. Yet are some men naturally of so tender a constitution, that Satan overdrives them herein. Every common occasion will wound them. The usual effects of God's ordinary providence on the poor, lame, or sick, are deeply laid to heart by them. And instead of being not unsensible of other men's miseries, they are not sensible of anything else, neither do they enjoy their own mercies. And here, as Satan can every moment present them with objects of pity, ordinary or extraordinary, so upon a religious pretense of merciful consideration, they are made cruel to themselves, refusing their own peace, because other men are not at ease. 3. The third particular promise to be explained, for the discovery of these discomposures of soul was this, that by a concurrence of these and such like occasions to such tempers, the hearts of men are disturbed, and their inward peace broken. This I shall evidence of these three things. 1. That these occasions meeting with such dispositions, do naturally raise great disturbances in their present working. 2. That they have a tendency to further trouble. 3. That Satan doth design, and hath it ordinarily in his power, to discompose the hearts of men hereby. 1. That these occasions meeting with such dispositions, do naturally raise great disturbances. This is evident from what hath been said already, for 1. All these dispositions carry as much fire in their own bosoms, as is sufficient to burn up the standing corn of any man's peace. What is anger, but an inward burning, a restless confusion of the spirits? Sometime a frenzy, a distraction, a troubled sea full of rage, a wild beast let loose. Envy, that is a fretful peevishness, a vexatious repining, needing no other tormentors but its own furies, recoiling upon him that bred it, because it cannot wreak its spite upon its objects. An envious person is a self-murderer, by the verdict of Eliphaz, Job verse 2, wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the foolish one. This is not barely to be understood of its provoking the judge of all the earth, to send down its deserved destruction. But also, if not chiefly, of its own corroding temper, which by long continuance, wastes the strength and consumes the body. Pride is a perpetual vexation, creating its troubles from its own fancy. Irregular covetings keep a man still upon the rack, they make a man like the Tantalus of the poets. They give a man a caninus appetitus, a strong appetite with excessive greediness, and restless pursuit, and constant dissatisfactions. He is ever gaping, and never enjoying. Impatience is a wearisome conflict with a burden which it can neither bear, nor yet shake off. Where all the fruit of the vain labor amounts to no better account than this, that the impatient makes his burden the greater, the bands that tie it on the stronger, and the strength that should bear it the weaker. Thanks.